There's a lot of good things that this league does, and what it's doing now is growing supporter cultures, medias. Now this is bigger than I've faced for a long time here, so everybody's got a role in growing the game in this country, and it will say a lot about us having the new Cavalry with some old values. So we've still got the tradition, and apparently Joel Wilson thinks we used to throw elbows a lot, but we used to pass the ball around as well, as he knows, because he was chasing a lot of our players. But absolutely. Listen, our number one objective when the commissioner brought out, the news of the regular season's now going to get its glory and its trophy and a spot in the Champions League and a better playoff. That was the number one objective from day one. So we've achieved that. This is now a bonus. To win another trophy is something special and not been done. And we talk about this league being a lot of forever first. We'd like to accomplish that one and check that off the list. But has Forge given us the most stress? Listen, no, I'd actually say it the other way. They've made me and they've made us better, because they've been a terrific side to watch, and to see what they've done in CONCACAF, we wanted to replicate. So I think sometimes you need rivalries like what we've had with them to inspire us to be better. And I think this year, win the league by the manner which we did, a large part of it is we had to be better than them, and we were for 28 games of the season.
Tommy, Jimmy Brennan here from One Soccer.
Hey Jimmy, you've got shorter.
I have. You talked so much this year about developing this identity and brand for Cavalry. How has that and the learnings along the way made these one-match type finals a better team, or a team that has a better chance of winning than perhaps in years past?
We had to. So I think what we did, thanks Jimmy, what we had to do was we had to grow. Listen, I think we're in a human industry that you have two choices. You grow or become extinct, and we chose the reason to grow. And what we tried to do this year, knowing the playoff format being a single knockout round, was we had to make every game like a final. So when we were on that final turn and being on that away turn where we faced, Forge, Halifax, Ottawa on that tough turn, that was probably what won us the season. We made that, and then when we came home, we knew that we had to get our home points there. So we earned the luck, and in playoffs you need luck. You do. Whether it's a referee call or whether it's a bit of magic here, you need a bit of luck. And we earned ours because of the way we finished in the regular season. So, we use those as preparation games. And, even the loss 2-1 was a rep. Beating Pacific was a rep. We're used to it now.
You called winning this title potentially tomorrow a tall order. Mm-hmm. You had the best team in the Canadian Premier League, 13 points better than anyone else, multiple award winners, and arguably one of, if not the greatest team assembled in Canadian Premier League history. Do you actually think that you're the underdog going into this game?
Well, according to you, it's Forge season, isn't it?
It has been, but does the history matter?
Well, again, depends which side of the fence you want to go, Gareth, because you do call it Forge season all the time. So apparently it's a tall order according to the media, and I was in Andy's hot seat at the beginning of the season. Hey, And. So we keep receipts. Just so you know, and we use them as opportunities to prove people wrong. And what we'll do now, it is a tall order. We've never beat Forge, as you rightfully said, in a playoff game, but we have beat them in a Canadian Championship doubleheader. We have beat them in regular seasons, and we have beat them here. All we need is one game. Pamadou Carr had never beaten Forge until the final. Finals are different. So we've had enough reps at them to get it right tomorrow.
We listen as well, and you also just called it would be a bonus winning this championship game. Do you really feel that way? Because this is Forge, this is your rival, this is a big platform, brand new trophy, winning a double. This seems like a little bit more than a bonus, Tommy.
No, because our goal at the start of the season was to take this club to where it hadn't been and get to CONCACAF. We achieved that. We got the regular season like the rest of the world celebrates. That's the one with a lot more weight on it. To win another trophy is a bonus because we're already in CONCACAF. We already have our first piece of silverware, and a second piece would be a lovely bonus.
Tommy, CPL, One Soccer, Christian Jack. So what did you learn from your team then that allowed them to lift that trophy at the end of the season in October that you didn't necessarily had last year that can help you tomorrow in terms of those winning intangibles that you're going to need tomorrow?
We haven't lost many times this season. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think what we lost, was it 5 times in the regular season and once in the playoffs against Forge. So I think those, those losses serve as learning moments if you choose to use it that way. And I think when we were 2-0 up over Valor and lost 3-2, I think that could have signaled a derail because of the manner in which we were going that time. It didn't. It made us better. We used the loss against Forge to learn from it and put in a better performance against Pacific. So I think the lads now just want to enjoy the moment tomorrow and turn up and show up and back up the reputation that they've rightfully earned.
Hey, Tommy, John Molinaro here.
John.
You talked earlier about Forge bringing out the best in Cavalry and vice versa. I wonder if that extends to you and Bobby as well. If you can speak to this, what's the sort of relationship like between you guys, if any? And do you find that he sort of brings out the best in you at times?
Yeah, listen, I think I've said before, we don't exchange Christmas cards, but we're certainly ones that there's respect. I respect the work he and his brother Costa did with Sigma. We live that life with Calgary Foothills and Leon Hapgood and my brother doing it right now. I know what it takes to help develop players where, there isn't a pathway forged, you have to do it. He's done it. He's then gone on and done it with Forge here, and he's then gone on and done it in CONCACAF. And to be honest, had it not been for John Herdman, I thought he would have been the perfect fit for TFC. And I think he's one that needs to be looked at outside because, he's a phenomenal coach that genuinely cares for his players and has got a good tactical imprint. So isn't that the model of a modern-day coach?
Tommy, Dan Wong from Footy Prime. I recently was able to see you on this really good show called Footy Prime on One Soccer.
Good show, yeah.
Yeah,
really
and
good show.
this really insightful pundit said, you and Bobby could have been two characters from Lord of the Rings. So I don't know who said that, but he was wise and smart. Yeah. But going back to Bobby and you, do you guys have a side bet? You guys know each other really well. Is there anything that you're going to... Do you have any country, Calgary, anything, Hamilton side bet that you guys got going on, or nothing?
No, I guess not.
I think you need. I think
that's a Footy Prime podcast one that you're going to
Well,
have to do.
I think
Everyone's looking around going, is there a side bet?
There
What's
should
going-"
be a side
Hey, listen,
bet.
and in the world we're living in with this Tonoli getting done for gambling, I think I got to be
Well,
careful
it
what
would
I
be
say.
a fun side bet. Okay, well, we'll think of one.
All these ones
We'll
over here
think of
tapping
one.
away on their thing, started doing, oh.
Charlie O'Connor Clark, Canadian Premier League.
Nice to meet you, Charlie.
Nice to meet you, Bobby. Bobby, this is the 5th final you guys have played in 5 Canadian Premier League years. How do you ensure that the motivation is the same to go out and win another trophy?
Yeah, I think for any player that plays this game, when you're a young kid kicking the ball on the field, what do? You play to win the championship, to simulate picking up a trophy, whatever you find on the side, whether it's a tree branch or something, and that's what you want to do. We've been fortunate enough that this is our 5th go-around with this. I'm thinking it's not a normal thing, as I read in one of the articles that a friend of ours here, Steve Milton, wrote last week, and he has the statistics better than me on when the last time North American sports teams played in 5 consecutive finals. So it's something special, but as I've said before, you can play in these games, but you don't have a contract with trophies. That's the one thing that's guaranteed. In sports, you can put everything into it, but you can't guarantee a win. But you want to be here, and that's the least we have to do as Forge. That's something we've set up from not just from year one and winning in year one, but from the start of that season on who we want to be and what we want this club to be as an identity, and the players have bought in.
Hey, Bobby, Gareth Wheeler here. I hope you don't mind. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is, do you consider yourself the favorite to win the title tomorrow? Cavalry obviously won the regular season, but do you consider yourself the favorite? And then my second question is, the rivalry has been great between Forge and Cavalry since day one. What's the status today? Where is that rivalry at between yourself and Cavalry?
Yeah, your first question, favorites, I don't say who's a favorite or who's an underdog in every match. I think as a team, and I look at ourselves individually, and I know it's an easy answer to give, but you have to focus on what you're good at. And if you go out there and you do it on a good day for Forge, more times than not, the result is positive. I think it was Jordan that said last night at the awards, Forge has been playing in 2nd or 3rd gear most of the season. It's true, most of the season we're in 3rd gear. But when we have to go into 5th, it's pretty good gear to have. So that's what we want to be able to see tomorrow. And then, that usually dictates how the games will go for us. And on question number 2, because my answer was long on question number 1, you're going to repeat it.
The
Yes.
rivalry.
Rivalry. Rivalry started in 2019 with a lot of heated matches and a lot of things from then. From 2019 to 2023, especially Cavalry is a very different team. A lot of different players, a lot of different faces. We've seen very good games, but I don't think, we've seen the fierceness that we saw in year 1, of course. But then when you look at the games, I think the competitive nature of the games has been very good because you have two teams that, one, want to win and really don't like losing. And I think that's what brings out the best in those matches that we've seen this year and years past in different playoff games. So I expect to see the same thing. But we've played 2 weeks ago in their home. It was, I think, an excellent match from both teams. Good tactical stuff on both sides, and that's the bigger thing that we focus on. Because here it's a moment, it's a game. You can be the better team on the field, and we know in these types of games you may not walk out with a trophy, and you could also not be the better one and walk out. But one thing we know is the storyline after will never remember what happened in the game. They'll only remember who's the champion.
Bobby, Christian Jack with the Canadian Premier League and One Soccer. Just 2 questions, if you don't mind, as well. You just said you had an injury issue with Woobens. Can you give us a little bit more? Like, what's the status? Is he out? Like, what can you tell us on that one first?
Yeah,
of all?
he's out. He's out for this game. Was out for last game as well. It's an unfortunate situation, but we've got players that are able to step up and take his role.
Thanks for that. And the second one is just winning here. What would it mean to you and this organization to get that almost missing piece that you've not done yet to actually clinch this in front of the fans in Hamilton?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is not for me personally, but for our organization and for our fans and for this city. We've done a lot of fantastic things over this time period and provided some special nights here, but we know the environment's going to be something new and something special again tomorrow night, playing here at home. And we had an ability to do it in 2021, and that remains in the minds of a lot of the players that were here then playing that game. So most importantly for me, I know the joy that it could give to our fans and the energy that it gives them to keep them not coming out, because they're doing an excellent job in doing that, but making sure we're increasing things where next year we've got 6,000 to 7,000 fans in here per game. And, across this league, we also want to make sure we're doing it as a league to have these stadiums filled.
Regarding the Coach of the Year, do you feel slighted by that? Do you even care about that? I mean, a lot of people saying you should have won it by now. Is it even something you sort of pay that much attention to?
No, I don't put a lot of thought into it. We've had a lot of success at this club. We've had a lot of team success, and I think that's the most important thing. I think, the individual awards, I love them for the players because I think it makes them feel a little bit better, a little bit, more energized in what they're doing. It's not something I look at myself, and we've got a few too many things on the mantle, on the fireplace at home anyways. But I want to keep on bringing trophies into this stadium. That's the most important thing that I look at each and every year. It's the one thing I talked about in when we started this club in 2019, and I was given the great opportunity by Mr. Bob Young, Scott Mitchell, and the rest here at the Hamilton Sports Group to lead this project. We have a beautiful home. You guys are sitting in it here. We're going to play in it tomorrow. You have no choice but to have a winning mentality. You have no choice but to compete for championships. And this year hasn't been our best year, but here we are.
Bobby, Armin from One Soccer. I had a chance to dig through some of our archive footage, and from 5 years ago in preseason, you laid out already the groundwork that success for this club is about building a winning identity. It's been 5 years. You've played in 5 finals now. Did you ever envision that building a winning culture would kind of turn out this way? And what do the next 5 years sort of look like for you too?
5 years ago, I didn't have a beard. It looked a little bit different. That's for sure. Words are easy. I'm a man of few words because actions are the most important things. We can talk, and I can sit here and talk about tactics all day long, and the team will be passing the ball backwards tomorrow. So actions are the most important things. To be able to be successful, you have to sacrifice a lot. Staff, myself, all of the coaches who are here, all of the staff, and the players, because it's not easy to be a player at Forge. I'll tell you guys that. That's the demands that we put on them, and the demands that are put on them a little bit by also you guys, the media, and it's a good thing because when Forge wins, of course they won. They're supposed to win. When Forge loses, there's something going wrong. But that's the identity of a big club. That's what we want. You need that pressure. And you need players to be able to deal with that, to become better. We need it as coaches, right? Because we don't live in a bubble either. So it's important from there. And all of that plays into a winning mentality and a winning culture. But it takes a lot of work. It doesn't take words. It takes a lot of actions. It takes a lot of work on the pitch to build an identity that you're going to stick with. Because I've said it over the years. In a league like ours, with a salary cap, it's easier to win by defending. If you try and play a lot of football, you're going to expose ourselves as well, because we can't go into the transfer market every 6 months and go and get Gundogan, who's leaving Man City, and everything that Guardiola does. Yeah. Well, I hope I'm here the day when we can, because that'll be a little bit different. But you know, we wanted to do this and be successful by also having a brand and a way of doing it, and knowing that takes risk. That takes putting players out of their comfort zone, because sometimes, like I said, it's easier to keep things tight in the back, do different things, but long-lasting, I think that's not the greatest thing for a club, for what we want to do and the growth of this game. We have a lot of talented players in this country, Forge and around the country, and we need to be able to showcase their skill. And I think along with winning, which we've done, with a lot of the success we've had, the one biggest thing that I take a lot of pride in is the development of players. Because the development of the player isn't just has he developed, has he moved on, but we have players here who have been here for 5 years. Have they gotten better? Have they made the team better? Because there's 3 categories of players. There are players that will play in this league for 2-3 years and move on to a European league or somewhere in that area. There's the older players who have maybe played in different leagues around the world who are coming back into this league. And then there will be players, and I've talked about this from year one, and we're starting to see that'll be lifers. And they're probably going to be the most important players to this league because they're going to keep the quality up. Others will come in, play for a year or 2, and retire. Others will play for 2-3 years and move on. It's that middle group that always is the consistency of a club, and it's the consistency of the league. And I'm very happy with the development of not only the players at Forge, but I've seen it around the league with players who have been in this league, playing years who maybe 3-4 years ago weren't who they were, and now they're quite a well-known commodity.